I used to think I was just self aware, but somewhere along the way, there came a time where I realized I couldn't stop. So, like, something small would happen, and within minutes, I was dissecting it, connecting it to other things, asking what it meant about my growth, my patterns, my life. I wasn't just reflecting anymore. I was trapped inside the meaning. I became a meaning maker. A meaning maker is someone who thinks about their own experiences a lot. Meaning makers tend to notice patterns. They tend to assign significance to emotions and events and turn even small moments into personal insight or growth. If you're a meaning maker, then you know exactly what I am talking about. You are someone who naturally likes to reflect, connect dots, and understand the deeper why beneath your experience. This type of person often feels things really deeply. They like to make sense of their inner world. The experience itself doesn't even have to be big. It can be something small, like a shift in your body and maybe an off moment in a conversation, a feeling that something isn't quite right. And almost immediately, your mind automatically goes inward. You start replaying it, zooming in, asking why you felt that way, what it says about where you are, whether it connects to something that happened last week or maybe a bigger picture, whether it means you're growing or maybe slipping back into an old pattern. At first, it can feel productive, even grounding. It feels like you're being self aware, like you're doing the work, like you're staying conscious. But at some point, a line is crossed. It stops feeling like curiosity and starts feeling like pressure. It starts to feel like there's something important here and you need to figure it out. And like if you don't fully understand what just happened, then you're missing something or you're going to repeat something or overlook something that matters. So you keep going. You add more layers, more meaning. You start questioning your reactions, your patterns, and even maybe your identity. You might hear yourself asking things like, is this growth or am I slipping back? Or is this trying to show me something deeper? And now you're not just reflecting, you're searching, you're investigating. This is what I've come to call the shadow side of being a meaning maker. I am a meaning maker. I always have been. I reflect deeply. I connect dots. My pattern recognition is very high. I can take the smallest, quietest moment and turn it into a thread that leads somewhere real. And this is a gift, but there's a shadow side that nobody really talks about. This shadow side is tricky because it doesn't look like spiraling. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like overthinking. From the outside, it can even look thoughtful. It looks aware. It even can look grounded, but internally, it is what I call refined overthinking. Finding meaning isn't a problem for me. The depth isn't the problem. The awareness isn't the problem. The shadow side appears in one specific moment, the moment I don't know when to stop. Meaning makers don't have a problem with finding meaning. We have a problem with not knowing when meaning is complete, when to stop. This is what it looks like in real life. So something happens. Let's say that something is emotional. Maybe you felt off in a conversation, or maybe you felt distant from someone that you're normally very close to, or maybe there's just a shift in your mood or a shift in your body and your system goes, this matters. Pay attention. So you zoom in. You start asking, why did I react like that? Or what is this showing me? Or what does this say about where I am in my growth? A lot of this inquiry is a gift because you're good at seeing patterns and you're good at understanding yourself. But then there's a tipping point. You go from this might mean something to this definitely means something and I need to figure it out. And now you're not exploring anymore. You're chasing certainty. And this is where it starts to feel like pressure, like urgency, and like anxiety. Like if you don't land on the insight, you're missing something important. So you keep going. You add more layers. Is this a pattern? Is this about my identity? Is this showing me that I'm growing, or is it showing me that I'm regressing? And what started as clarity turns into confusion and honestly exhaustion. The capabilities of a meaning maker are only helpful when self trust is high and you know when to stop. So, if you're like me, here's something you can start doing. When you notice yourself going into meaning making mode, pause and ask yourself, am I adding more meaning to feel in control? Because when meaning making goes into its shadow side of refined overthinking, it's just another way to attempt to access safety through control. So when you ask yourself, am I adding more meaning to feel in control? And if the answer is yes, say to yourself, that's enough meaning for now. That's a great mantra for meaning makers. That's enough meaning for now. When I say that mantra to myself, I then immediately ground myself in my body through sensation, like feeling my feet on the floor or water running over my hands or the sensation of me breathing or something like that, something physical through sensation. Doing this brings me out of my meaning making mind by grounding me into the sensation while I'm saying that's enough meaning for now. Because the next level of growth for meaning makers isn't more insight. It's trust. Trusting that you already understand enough and that you don't need to turn every experience into something bigger than it is. Sometimes it's just a moment and you're allowed to just live it. If this resonates with you, you're probably a meaning maker too. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this topic and how to keep your depth without getting lost in your head. So make sure you hit subscribe. And as always, have a good week.